So the way we're going to get things started today is on the phone lines with our expert today, Chris Hummer, national college football writer for us here at 24/7 Sports. Chris, thank you so much for being here with us today. You got to witness a thriller this weekend. Who's your biggest winner?
Yeah, I have to go with the Oklahoma Sooners. I was on hand in Waco. I saw Oklahoma go down 28-3. Looked like the Sooners had no shot and would kind of get kicked out of the playoff race for the first time in 3 seasons, but they stormed back, channeled their inner New England Patriots, and found a way to earn a win over the number 13 team in the country. So not only is Oklahoma alive and well, but the Sooners now have a win over an unbeaten Power 5 team on their resume to kind of boost their argument with the College Football Playoff Committee. In my opinion, outside of an injury, it was the most monumental kind of moment of the weekend, and I think the Sooners are in really good shape moving forward when you're talking about what they have ahead of them with the game against Oklahoma State and a game in the Big 12 title game, perhaps against Baylor again. There's a legitimate chance Oklahoma could be good enough to jump the Pac-12 teams for that 4th spot as the season kind of goes along.
It's definitely an interesting development, Chris. And if you listened to the show last week, Trey Scott was on and actually named Oklahoma as his biggest loser. And he was kind of justified in the fact that they moved down a spot after winning last week. We'll see what the committee does with them this week. Let's move on now, Chris, to your biggest loser of the week. Who was it?
Yeah, I think I had a bit of a Freudian slip there by saying Alabama a couple times, but I think it was Alabama and college football as a whole with Tua Tagovailoa's injury. There were not many players in college football that were more exciting to watch than Tua. He kind of following Jalen Hurts sparked an offensive revolution in Alabama. I don't think there was a more feared offense in football than the Crimson Tide with Tua at the helm. He was so dangerous with his left arm, the ability to kind of not only hit those slants that everybody likes to talk about, but he's extremely, extremely advanced in reading the field and kind of attacking defenses. And without him, Alabama is a lot less likely to reach the college football playoff. And frankly, college football is just worse off for it. We're not going to get to see Tua against Auburn. We're not going to get to see Tua potentially have that fight for his Heisman moment that I think many of us expected him to have at least one point in his career. And it's just really too bad. There are not many players in college football you rooted for more than Tua. He just had this ability to connect with people. He always seemed to smile. He was just an easy guy to follow and an easy guy to like. And it kind of sucks that his career most likely ended that way at Alabama.
You're right, Chris. We all kind of feel like losers, college football fans in general, when a player of that caliber is lost. Alabama's not out of it yet, but they certainly feel like less of a playoff contender without him. And also, you're down a major Heisman contender with Tua out for the season. So that's really unfortunate. He looks forward now to the NFL draft. I know I can't wait to see him watch him play at the next level. Chris, of course, now that we're in playoff time, playoff mode, that's all we want to talk about. I don't want your prediction for what you think the committee is going to do. I want your top 4. Give me your top 4 teams.
Yeah, I think I have LSU at number 1. No team has a better set of victories than the Tigers. They've earned that top spot. Although there are concerns about that defense after getting kind of run over by Ole Miss this week. LSU's defense actually ranks behind Oklahoma's right now at this point in the season, so that kind of shows you where they're at. So that could be something to watch moving forward. Ohio's number 2. They're the most dominant team in the country. All they lack is wins that LSU can claim. I have Clemson at number 3. Watch out for the Tigers. They're getting better at this time of year. This is what Dabo Swinney coach teams do. They get better as the season goes along. They peak in the playoffs. So we saw that happen when Clemson tore through the college football playoff. My 4th team is going to differ from what the committee will project tonight or tomorrow. And I have Alabama at number 4. I think they've done nothing to lose that spot other than kind of their quarterback being injured. I think Alabama is more explosive than Georgia. I think in a head-to-head game, had Tua been healthy, I would have certainly picked Alabama over Georgia, and I still might. I just think the Tide have an ability to score points at will that Georgia lacks, partially because of style and also partially due to personnel. So I lean Alabama over Georgia, despite the fact that Georgia has a multitude of top 25 wins compared to none for Alabama at this point.
It'll be interesting to see how the committee looks at that Tua Tagovailoa injury, and particularly the second half in which the Crimson Tide failed to score a touchdown against Mississippi State, or if they look at Alabama as a whole, because I really think they could have won all of the games they've won so far this year with Mac Jones at quarterback. They would have been a slightly less dominant team, but definitely would have the same record, at least in my opinion. Chris, thank you so much for being here today. Everyone, make sure you're following Chris on Twitter at Chris_Hummer and reading his work over at 247sports.com.